Hey there. Welcome back. It is another Whiskey Masterclass Triple Shot, and I am Lou Bryson, the author of American Whiskey Masterclass. It's been so long, I put a new book out. I am not going to give you a whole long song and dance on why it took so long for me to come back to this. I started a podcast. I did the book. We built this bar, which you see behind me. This is my basement bar, of which I am well pleased. But you know what? I'm starting this again, and I'm starting it today because I got 3 new whiskeys from a new distillery, Two Roads Distilling in Stratford, Connecticut. And yes, if you know Two Roads Brewing, it is the same people, and especially it is Phil Markowski. Phil is an old friend of mine. I think I met him in 1992. Went up and toured New England Brewing, where he was brewing at the time, also in Connecticut. And I've stayed in touch ever since. Went out to visit him when he was at Southampton Public House, way out in the Hamptons on Long Island. And now he's been at Two Roads, and like a lot of other breweries, kind of got that itch for trying whiskey. So he sent me these 3 whiskeys just a little while ago. I'll be honest with you, I was going to open them on camera, and I should have fiddled around. This is a brand new setup, and I should have fiddled around more because it screwed up. And, well, 2 of them are already poured. The 3rd will be an open. So let's just go on with it. I do have these 3 whiskeys. They are Coolship, American single malt, that is 3.5 years old and bottled at 90 proof. Roadsmary's Baby. It is a whiskey distilled from Two Roads Rosemary's Baby Spiced Pumpkin Ale, and then an ale that is aged in used rum barrels, and then this whiskey, which is 2 years old and also at 90 proof, is then finished in those same rum barrels after it's aged in American oak. The 3rd whiskey is kind of special. This is Igor's Dream. It is distilled from their Igor's Dream Imperial Stout. It is at 92 proof and also 2 years old. Igor's Dream commemorates Igor Sikorsky, the inventor of the practical helicopter, the first helicopter that actually flew under control and could repeatedly do so, the VS-300. Sikorsky is still there in Connecticut. It's a big company. And Igor's Dream, they do a release every year on January 31st. And watch this space. I might be there on January 31st at Two Roads Distilling, Two Roads Brewery. And Igor Sikorsky Jr., who is 97, might be there as well. Watch the website, seenthroughaglass.com, to find out if I'm going to make it and maybe if Igor's going to make it. So, like I said, American Whiskey Masterclass, 3 whiskeys from Two Roads Distilling. Let's get at it. So the first one I'm tasting is the Coolship American Single Malt. We've talked about American Single Malt on my website. I've talked about it in the column I write for American Craft Spirit Magazine. I have talked about this a lot of places, so I'm not going to repeat the whole American Single Malt thing. I'm just going to say that this one is quite different. First off, it is called Coolship American Single Malt, and what that means is that after the malt has been mashed and the wort has run off, the wash, if you're sticking to distilling terms, that then goes to a coolship, a broad, shallow tank without an opening without a cover on top. And that tank is open to the wetlands that the brewery distilleries sit next to. It is a soup of microbes that get into that fresh wort. This is the same system they use with lambic beers in Belgium. It is in the coolship for several days, not just a few hours, as is the usual case. So it's soaking up all that. And then On top of that, and I want to read this because I want to make sure I get it right. The Coolship has a curved, untreated wooden ceiling. The wood harbors its own flora, which feed the resident microbes and influence the wash's character. As hot work fills the Coolship, the steam rises and deflects off the ceiling, carrying those wild yeast and bacteria back into the pans, and on warmer days, condensing and dripping back directly into the liquid. The wort rests for several days. This does not produce alcohol, but it does create a range of organic acids that contribute lasting complexity to the whiskey's flavor. Pretty interesting. Let's see if we can actually pick any of that up. Okay, I feel like Parker Beam because mostly what there is a fruitiness. I apologize for the traffic noise. The bar does sit pretty much right on the street. So there's an edginess to it that's some oak, but I think there is a slight, I don't know, acidy tang to it. Is that planted in my head? I don't know. Wow. That's good. There's almost like some juicy fruit gum there. Oh wow. Oh my. Sorry, it's not at all what I expected. The malt is there, a little bit of juicy fruit is there, but then as it passes through to the finish, there's a wow. I want to say drying, but it's not. It is a little bit funky. I've been trying to avoid saying that word because with Coolships, it always comes to mind. But there's, wow, when it hits the back and, you swallow and then your mouth comes open. Wow. I almost want to compare this to the Glenmorangie malt that was done with wild yeast, whose name escapes me at this point. It starts with an A, but that doesn't say a lot. Wow. Pretty cool. And definitely repeatable. Like that. Okay, next whiskey, Roadsmary's Baby, the spiced pumpkin ale whiskey. And let me say, the label says malt whiskey aged in craft beer barrels. Does not say flavored whiskey. So the flavors go into the beer, but then the beer is aged in barrels, and then this gets distilled. And so, wow, the spices definitely carry over. But this is not, I mean, pumpkin ale, you're thinking, oh, pumpkin pie. It's not. This is more like, wow, almost like a colonial spice punch, where the spices are not blending with vanilla and in the punch and all that stuff. There's more of an edge to it. It's almost more like savory spices than the sweetness of a pie. And the flavor's there too. This is a little bit chewy. It has some mouthfeel to it. I don't know if you can see that, but there's quite a bit. Yeah, you can see that in there. The legs are well pronounced. When I first read what this was, I was thinking this is a novelty, a pumpkin beer that's aged in rum barrels, and then you distill it, and then you finish the whiskey in those same barrels. This is not a novelty. This is a drink. Yeah, as they told me once when I was drinking hempen ale down at the old Blue Ridge Brewing, I think it was, in Frederick, Maryland. It's not a gimmick. It's a novelty. Well, I think that is. I don't think it's a gimmick. I think it's a novelty. It's tasty. All right. On to Igor's Dream. If I can find how to open this. Sometimes these things are real bare. There we go. Okay. So Igor's Dream is 2 years old. It is 92 proof, and this is bottle number 340 of 465. So let's have a taste of this. Sorry if I looked panicked there for a second. My computer shot me a message, and like I said, I'm still kind of getting used to this. Okay, there is, wow, some real almost tropical fruit there. Not a lot of wood. Malt. I'm looking for those stout hints of chocolate or coffee. Not really getting that. I am getting, it is like a tropical fruity aroma. Mm. Mm. It is tasty. It is not, I will be honest, it's not particularly complex, but it's good. Not 2 years old, not complex is maybe a good thing. Wow, the finish on that is really good. This is where the malt comes through. There actually is some chocolate on the back there as it's going down and resting. I'm getting a cocoa that kind of spreads through the back of my throat. The tropical fruit is there, but not as intense as in the nose. I'm going to let this truck pass. Thanks. Yeah, what are you going to do? This is where a young malt can be good if there's some interesting stuff done with it. I think a lot of just straight up young single malts need help, need work, need something. Each one of these whiskeys has something. It's got the Imperial Stout mash bill, which, a lot of American single malts are just malt. It has the pumpkin spice and the rum barrel component. It's got the Coolship, which is admittedly largely an unknown, but it's there. And I think those three things help these three young malt whiskeys to achieve an interesting balance. So that's pretty decent stuff. I don't have a price for you on these. I was not able to find that. I'm sure you can find that by going to the Two Roads website. That's about all I have for you this time. It's good to be back. I want to do more of these. And I would remind you that you can get a signed copy of my book at my website, seenthrough-a-glass.com. And also keep an eye on that, especially if you're in New England, because I may be at the Igor's Dream release day on January 31st, 2026 in Stratford, Connecticut at the distillery. I'd like to be there. Want to make it work. So that's about all I have for you. Appreciate it. It is good to be back. And, oh, right, Seen Through a Glass podcast. I'm on there every other week. We just released an episode, last week. That was, I honest to God cannot remember because I'm an idiot. I don't know what it was. They're all running together. Oh, good God, it was Dad's Hat. I interviewed Herman Mihalich from Dad's Hat. That was actually a pretty good interview. So give a listen to that. It's on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. It's on Podbean, almost all the major podcast apps. Take a look for it. Seen Through a Glass, not Seen Through Glass. That's a British racing podcast, which has nothing to do with me or whiskey. And I will see you back here, gosh, I hope not too long from now. Thanks. Cheers.